Hello, welcome to tonight's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. As always, this is Paul.
This is Brandon.
And we are coming to you from the house for the last time.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to move, hopefully, looks like, shortly. But, oh my
I
God.
accidentally hit play, Dad.
I hit play. That's what happens when you accidentally restart a computer. So, no. And hopefully we'll be coming from a new studio. We'll have it all set up. We'll be doing videos as soon as we get to the new place. All right. As always, we are brought to you by RU Game in Pickle, Ohio, 124 North Sunset. The best comic book, video game, magic, DVD store in Pickle. I can honestly say that if you put all those things together, we're the best of that store that exists. Because nobody else carries all this stuff that we carry. So, all right. I got to do a shout out to Mick. Thanks for the donations. And I appreciate it. I do. We really do. It's going to go to a good cause. And Mary Wilcox gave us some Semper Suds. Her soap. I got one in the bathroom. It looks like Yoda. Smells pretty good. And that is Mary Wilcox at rubadub216@gmail.com. You can check her out over there.
If you're going to watch
And we appreciate the soap, and we're going to have fun trying that out. So tonight's episode is, I don't know, I want to say it's a thorn.
You were talking about you wanted to talk about the Satanic Panic.
Apple juice.
Yes,
Vincent wants to talk about his apple juice. I grabbed him from the gas station.
And you made a mistake. All right.
Sorry.
So tonight's episode is, I don't want to say it might be a thorn in my side for almost my entire life, but it is the Satanic Panic.
The Satanic Panic is still going
on.
Except people have moved on from stuff like D&D, and now it's the gays.
Oh no! It's still the D&D. It's still the magic. Now it's more.
There are more and more things that are satanic. Pokemon was a part of the Satanic Panic.
Oh yeah. When I had to run a guy out of the store when I had my shop in Troy, because he suddenly decided. He comes in and he's like, "Oh, you guys have games and all that stuff like that." We're like, "Oh yeah, cool," And then he walks over to all the kids playing Magic and Pokemon, and he's like, "Pokemon's evil. All those represent the devil. Look at Alakazam and Kadabra. He's got a pentagram for a head, and he's throwing up horns." I'm like, "He's got 3 fingers. How is he throwing up horns? Come on!" Well, he didn't say throwing up horns because he's showing a devil symbol. I'm like, so does everybody in the Texas Longhorns, are they throwing up the devil's horns?
The whole thing of throwing up the horns, from my knowledge, originates from Ronnie James Dio.
It's the evil. It's protection from the evil eye.
Yeah.
It has
nothing to do with the devil.
My favorite one was the lady. It's in one of the documentaries, and the Satanic Panic documentaries are great. But she's telling you how the evil, because it's. You look at your hand when you do the metal horns. It's a 6, a 6, and a 6 represents the devil.
I thought it was the horns. It's more than the horns.
So put your 2 hands together because it's too much metal for one hand.
Yeah.
As I'm visibly doing things that you cannot see on the internet. Oh my God! But no, I grew up. And I remember being a kid. I don't know how old I was. But this is going to tell you how old I was because I couldn't give 2 shits less about Kiss at this point in my life. I was a huge Kiss fan when I was a little kid, man.
You say you were the number one Kiss fan.
Oh no, I am. I number one Kiss fan. I was not a number one Kiss fan. I just liked Kiss when I was a kid because they were cool, because they wore the makeup and they came out and they were monsters and they breathed fire and they spit blood. And I was big into them when I was like, I don't know, like 6 or 7, maybe. I thought they were cool.
I'm kind of burnt out on Kiss. I liked them big growing up, but like,
let's put it this way:
anything that's not the songs you hear on the radio are just like kind of forgettable.
Well, they have decent songs still. I'm not gonna lie, there's still decent songs out there, but those are ones that they don't play. They're never played on the radio.
They always play.
And to be honest, I think they should have just stopped, because they did the Kiss Revenge tour, which Kiss Revenge is one of their best albums, but it's got probably their worst song ever on it. Then they brought them back with, when they brought back the original group with the makeup and all that stuff. And Detroit Rock City, which I love Detroit Rock City because it's funny as shit. And when the mom looked at me, when the mom looks at her son, he goes, "You know what KISS stands for? Knights in Satan's Service." I legitimately had somebody tell me that when I was like a little kid. And I'm like, are you... And I'm like, the more you tell me how evil and how wrong these things are, the more I want to listen to them. That's like the whole thing when they put the parental advisory explicit lyrics stickers on albums. That just made you want to go buy that album more.
You're just like, ooh, it's gonna say things like swear words.
Oh yeah, but oh man, so I was that was my first thing. My first thing was I was the story is that the reason I am weird is because my mom went and saw The Exorcist when she was pregnant with me. And the evil from the movie left the movie and came to me. Because, it's real.
Based on a true story.
It's based on a true story as much as Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based on a true story, along with The Strangers. I get the fact that William Peter Blatty based it on a kid who went through an exorcism in I want to say in the 1940s, and
looking into the history of exorcisms, just like the more and more you realize it was. The more and more like legitimately messed up it is, and not in the sense that it's demons, but in the sense that it's probably people like these. You probably got these kids and people with with like mental illnesses. These priests, they don't know what a mental illness is. They don't, and so often they'll be undergoing like psychosis or something.
Oh yeah. Well,
they'll believe that they're possessed by a demon 100%.
Well, I look at it this way. Epilepsy was possession. Narcolepsy was possession. Probably Down syndrome was possession.
Stuff like autism.
Autism was Vince over there would be considered devil child. He's the devil child, but not in the sense that he's possessed by the devil.
He's devil child in the sense that he will do whatever it takes to get what he wants.
He is, yeah.
He's a smart child. He's a mischievous child. He will outsmart you.
He's gonna be 10 in a few days. He's 5 foot tall, weighs 150 pounds. He's strong as an ox and smart as can be, and sneaky as shit. That's why he's a devil child. And he's my son, and I love him more than about anything in the world, except for my other 3 children and my wife. Okay. Robbie Mannheim is the 14-year-old boy that the demonic possession, the attending priest Raymond J. Bishop.
Supernatural claims of the events were
used as elements in William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist in 71.
Yeah. That's where we're at. We found the exorcism of Roland Doe or Robbie Mannheim. They're both in quotation marks because I don't think they ever gave the real kid's name. As we got, but yeah, that's the reason I am the way I am is because my mom saw The Exorcist when I was a kid. I've seen The Exorcist.
Might have also been watching all of those horror movies growing up.
Oh no! The why I am the way I am.
You went to you mentioned.
I watched stuff.
You went to the town that dreaded Sunday.
Oh yeah. When I was
to the town.
When I was like
Sunday.
5, my mom and dad were on a trip to Texas. And we drove through Texarkana, where the town where they filmed The Town That Dreaded Sundown, that I had just watched, because yet again, I watched stuff when I was way too young to be watching these things. Which still, The Town That Dreaded Sundown is still one of my favorite movies. I don't care. That's a fucking great movie. But we're driving through town, and I'm back in the back play. No, because I had to be older than that, because I was playing with Star Wars figures, and I was probably playing with Empire Strikes Back figures. So I was 6, 7, maybe. And so I'm playing with my toys, and my mom's sitting there. I'm playing in the back of the motorhome. My parents are like, "Hey, remember that town in that movie where the killer?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're in that town." I'm like, "Oh, scared," and freaked me out because I was a little kid and I didn't know any better. Because same way with I always thought I had a friend who when I was little he wouldn't watch Jaws or the giant mutant alligator movies where the alligators lived in the sewer or anything, because he thought for sure either a shark or an alligator was going to bite him on a toilet. So yeah, because the 80s fucked up some kids is what I'm saying. So get back to
this. More of a 70s thing.
Huh?
Jaws was more.
Yeah, but see, it wasn't seen. I did not, dude. Jaws came out. I was 1. Literally, it was the big.
They ran it on
they
TV all the
ran
time.
Oh god, Jaws. It's like Beastmaster and Predator. Those movies got shown to shit on back in the day when I was a kid. HBO, I think, was Beastmaster, because I think HBO stood for "Hey, Beastmaster's on." Oh, but here we go. Satanic Panic. Oh my god. So I remember even in school we would watch the documentaries, and they're like, stranger danger, which stranger danger is good. You don't want your kids talking. But me and your mom just had this discussion. Remember when there was a time when you were told, don't take food from strangers, don't ride in a stranger's car. Now in this day and age, here's your Uber and your Grubhub guy. So take the food from this stranger and get in this stranger's car. Stranger danger was screwed up because most kids, and this is going to be a serious moment in here. Most kids that are, abused are abused by family members and friends of family, not strangers. Mm-hmm. Stranger danger is almost bullshit. I mean, you know what? It's crazy, but I have this ongoing thing is that when I was a kid in high school and shit like that, I was into everything that would never get you laid. I was the comic book reading, horror movie watching, D&D playing, heavy metal listening kid that was into all these things. And I still collected toys. I never stopped. I don't think I ever stopped collecting toys.
There's literally a toy collection in the next room.
It's all getting boxed up too, which kind of sucks. That's not even my toy collection. My big toy collection is my G.I. Joe collection. It takes up that one room at the shop. So, oh my god. I remember, I don't know, I was in high school, so I was probably maybe 16, because I think I was working at the comic book store at the time. But I have always loved Damian Hellstrom, the son of Satan, from Marvel Comics.
And then there was
the
daughter of Satan.
Satana, the Satana, all that stuff. And I remember your grandma sitting there. She pulled us out and she walked out and she goes, "You need to talk to me about something." And I'm like, and in my head I'm like, "What, did you find porn?"
Oh no.
No, what's this? And I'm like, yeah, it's a comic book. He's an exorcist. He fights against evil. He's the devil's son and he fights against his dad. Oh. And then I remember I'm sitting there and I was an adult by this time and your grandpa was looking at me and I'm sitting there, I'm literally wearing a White Zombie t-shirt and me and him are out to eat and he's like, "Can I ask you a serious question?" And I'm just like thinking to myself, what? Is
Nothing good can come out of this.
No, I was like, because if this is the sex talk, this is way too late, man.
The birds and the bees.
I am well aware of the birds and the bees and have been well aware of the birds and bees for years at this point. And he's like, "Are you a devil worshiper?" And I'm like, "What? No." I was like, "Yeah, Dad, I worship Satan in my free time. What the hell?" I was like, I don't even believe in the devil. That's another one is try to explain to somebody that you're an atheist. And they're like, "So you're a devil worshiper." I'm like, I don't believe in the boogeyman either. I don't get what you're saying. And I'm not saying this. And I've gone through so much shit as being
I personally worship the dark god Chernabog.
Chernabog from fucking just Fantasia.
No.
It's
Chernabog from Blood.
Blood, yeah. I'm the Chernabog from yeah. Although that's just Bela Lugosi. Does everything. Oh my god. But man, I tell you, it's hilarious because I remember in high school, I don't know how many times people like, "Oh, you play D&D? That's evil. That's satanic. That's a gateway." I'm like, "A gateway to what? Never having sex? What the hell do you mean?"
It's because,
and it's funny because now it's hip and cool.
These conservative Christian groups, like they always need a scapegoat for anything.
Oh,
they like things like things like their parenting skills. Well, that's the idea that society itself is at fault is just completely alien to them. It has to be something weird. It has to be something unnatural that's responsible for the corruption of youth.
Okay, here
nowadays nowadays what's responsible is like the gay people.
Okay. Well, what I think's funny is there's a movie called Mazes and Monsters, and it's got, ironically enough, a very young Tom Hanks. Okay, this is based, I have to do the air quotes, on a true story about a kid who played D&D with his buddies at college, and they would go into these, like, underground, I don't know if it was, like, storm drains or access tunnels and shit underneath the school, and they would LARP. Mm-hmm. Well, it's and now we all know LARP is just fun. You beat on each other with foam swords and shit, and you're like, fireball, and you throw.
LARPing is completely harmless.
Yeah, it's super harmless unless you play against me because I will beat the fuck out of you.
Stone cold stun you.
I'm going in as a fucking barbarian and just I'm gonna wail on you with a foam sword till it hurts. But. No, but the serious thing is that this kid goes into the tunnels, and he comes up missing, and they search for him, and they blame all this shit. They blame D&D. They blame that he was in with this witchcraft and occult and stuff like that, and they go through this whole thing about
there's the devil worshippers that took the boy.
Yeah, and. God damn it.
You gotta actually make sure that you...
Look it up on your phone real quick. Look up Mazes and Monsters. But he went through all this stuff. Mazes and Monsters true story. Yeah. Here you go. True story behind Mazes and Monsters. But the kid, he had psychological issues. He was gay, and didn't want to. His like family was not cool with him being gay, and he was dealing with all that stuff. He was dealing with his own personal issues, and he suffered from depression and shit like that. And they thought that it was all because of D&D. No, it was because of his shitty family life that that he became. You know, he went into the. Yeah, okay, this is the. Yeah, just the documentary does not bode well, but it's it's looking for a scapegoat, and they're like, it's not my fault, it's D&D. No, you're a shitty parent who should love his child no matter what. You know what? I've done told you guys this. I've told you this. I've told Joe this. I've told TJ this. I told Vince, but Vince doesn't give a shit. But
you try to give a serious talk to Vince, he'll just be like, if he actually does listen to you, because 99% of the time he'll leave mid-conversation and just go watch TV or play on his tablet.
Yeah, Vince, he knows what's right and wrong, and he
does what's wrong anyway.
He does, but he doesn't do anything to be malicious. You know, he'll hide stuff so you can't find it, just so because he thinks it's hilarious, stuff like that. But I've told you this, guy. I don't care what you guys do in life. I will always love you. You're my sons. I will love you till the day you die, unless you become like murder, rapist, pedophiles, and then no, I don't love you no more. Because I will kill you.
Dad, don't worry. I'm the kind of guy who hunts those people.
Yeah.
If I see...
I love the whole thing right now is that the people, there's the meme where the guy slapping the top of the chipper shredder and he goes, this thing will eat so many pedophiles. I'm like, but the thing is you want to feed them feet first. Because it lasts longer. You run them through head first, it's over quick. You run them through feet first, it lasts a few minutes. Remember this whole thing about save the children. Nobody likes fucking pedophiles, okay? Just throwing that out there. Fuck pedophile. Yeah. But that was another thing is everybody thought that this was D&D was this gateway. It was causing these kids to worship Satan, and
corrupting
the youth. It was turning them into devil worshippers and stuff like that. And to be honest, I think church did a pretty good job. But no, I'm not saying that. There are good churches out there. I'm not gonna lie. There's good people out there, and there's bad people. Whether it be religious people that go to church every day, or people who sit around and smoke weed. There are good people, and there's bad people everywhere. We'll just put it that. Mm-hmm. But all right. And I still get it. As a store owner who sells D&D product, I still get on a regular basis people who come in and are like, "Wow, isn't that devil worshipping?"
No. If anything, you fight demons.
No. I had an evil paladin, and he had an unholy symbol, and he did all. But you know what? I don't believe in that.
The thing with Doom, everyone called Doom.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Doom was like Sandy Pearson was like one of the lead devs on Doom was like, he considers it the most Christian game ever because you're fighting demons.
Oh, shit. Well, that's like... Okay. Literally, one of my senior papers I did in high school was I had a class up at Sydney High School, shout out to Sydney High School, that was a current events class. We had to study... We literally read the paper and watched the news every day, and we did reports on everything, and we studied it, and that was our test. And mind you, this is during, the Gulf War era. This is during all that fun stuff.
Like the late 90s.
Yeah, I'm early 90s. I'm late 80s, early 90s. This is 91, 92. But the Satanic Panic was still going on, because it's still going on now. And it was such a catchphrase in the media at the time. I did a report on it. Our report was Satanism in the media. And it's funny because I took like a box full of stuff. I mean, the beginning of our thing was Slayer. And it's like, welcome to the realm of Satan. And then we showed the scene from the horror movie The First Power, where they're showing where the killer killed, and then Blue Diamond Phillips goes up there and it's a pentagram. And then we were sitting there and they're like, yeah, Satan's everywhere because it's the boogeyman. It's the devil is the boogeyman. So everybody's like, oh, gotta be scared of the boogeyman. And
a lot of these bands and media took advantage of that.
Dude. It's funny because Slayer gets so much shit because they're like a satanic band. No, they're not. The lead singer's fucking Catholic. You know, Deicide is a satanic band. Emperor is a satanic band. Baphomet is a satanic band. You know what the worst part about it is? I like a lot of these bands. I don't give two shits what the songs are about. It's the music I like, whatever. I don't care. You know, that's like, okay, I love freaking Night Train by Guns N' Roses. Mr. Brownstone. This is about heroin and drinking. I'm straight edge. I don't drink and I don't smoke. I don't do any type of thing. And literally, my drink, I literally drink tea.
And smoothies.
I'm a teetotaler. I drink fruit smoothies. I drink fruit juice. I drink tea. I am
He ain't no vegetarian. He likes burgers.
Oh, my God. I couldn't be a vegetarian. I think all vegetables taste like dirt. And I know that's a psychological thing. I get that, but it is what it is.
I like avocados.
I can't like texture.
Texture.
Like,
I feel you. There's a lot of stuff that, like, the texture just bugs the crap out of me. Like onions.
Onions and mushrooms can be delicious. And they're like, they make me want to vomit.
I like the taste of mushrooms. I like the taste of onion. I bite into either one of those things, even if it's just like a little bit of one.
Oh yeah,
I can instantly tell what it is, and I want it out of my mouth because I do not like that texture.
I want it gone. Okay, but I did go back to my school report. So I did a report, and we literally got up there, and at the time I loved the shitty, pulpy 80s, early 90s horror books. Because the stores were full of them back in the day. They had lurid covers and shit like that. Like there's one I gotta find it, but it's called Red Devil, and it took place in Russia, and it had the sickle and hammer. But the way the sickle and hammer was, it formed a pentagram.
That's the peak 80s right there.
Oh, it's as 80s as you get, unless it had Rambo on the cover. That's the only way it could be more 80s. But I had a book.
Yeah, Satanic Panic and Red Scare.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
Red Scare.
But I had books like Deliver Us from Evil. A lot of that stuff was one of my favorite books is a book called Son of the Endless Night, and I want to say it's by John Ferris, but is literally the exorcism cranked up to 11. It's fucked up and it's great. Because it's a lurid 1980s, maybe early 90s.
Fever dream.
I'm slowly looking this up. Son of the Endless Night, book by John Ferris. I check that shit out. I was right. Son of the Endless Night by John Ferris. When did this come out? Boom.
No, knowing you, it probably came out in like.
Oh, see, that's a horrible cover. I like the other cover better. It has this little like girl and a big demon behind her. But yeah, yeah. And then at around, around 15, I discovered the comic book.
I'll help look it up.
Yeah,
you talking.
Okay,
keep talking.
I discovered the comic book Faust by David Quinn and Tim Vigil, and that is a completely adult-oriented comic book, and it's gory. This dude sells his soul to the devil. 1985. Holy shit. Okay, Son of the Endless Night came out in 1985. But shout out to Tim Vigil and Dave Quinn, who I've met dozens of times over the year, and who are both really cool dudes. Faust is fucked up. It's got murder, rape, demons.
It's shock of the highest caliber.
It's shock, and it's a messed up book. But the problem is it's such a good book that you kind of look past all the gore and violence and look at the actual story. But I should not have been reading that at 15. Luckily, the guy at the comic book store, did not give two shits, and neither did my dad. He would buy it for me, and I loved him for it. And I literally took that in because I asked my teacher. I'm like, this is not something that should be in school. And he's like, oh, it's part of your senior. You can bring it in. I'm like, okay. So I brought that in, and we literally. And I had the Necronomicon, the Necronomicon, the paperback version that everybody had in the if you're a Lovecraft fan, you had the paperback of the Necronomicon. I actually had the Satanic Bible, still have a Satanic Bible. Don't believe anything, and it's a psychology book for the most part. It's basically hey, don't
be.
It's remember, if somebody's an asshole to you, don't turn the other cheek. Be an asshole to the asshole. But
lay it to smack it down.
Yeah, but I had all this stuff because I'm also a research nut and I love reading and whatnot. And
the internet age makes being a research nut a heck of a lot.
Oh, it does, because now I don't have fucking just shit tons of books sitting everywhere. Literally, when me and your mom got together, I had boxes upon boxes upon boxes of books because I was reading 2 to 3 books a week when I was in school, and I just had them all boxed up.
And none of them were the required reading.
No, I hated required reading. Matter of fact, literally the required reading that I had to read was like I had to read a modern classic, so I read The Sun Also Rises, and I'm like, okay, it's about a guy who can't get a boner and tries to figure out every way to become a man. I'm like, why? Whatever.
It's boring.
I don't like it. I like reading what I want to read. Literally, I read science textbooks and shit like that.
When I was a kid, I used to read the crap out of shark books. I still have an encyclopedic knowledge of sharks.
You had consumed knowledge on sharks, and you did mythology. You and Joe both did mythology for a long time.
Yeah.
But... yeah, so
Joe's still a bigger mythology nut than mine.
Oh, I love mythology. But I took this big box of stuff to school. And literally we sat down there and we took it and we all, literally, I think I had a Slayer t-shirt on. Yeah, it's good. So I have one that has the, which one? Oh, yeah. It has the big pentagram on the back and has the crucified soldier on the front for a war ensemble. And it's funny because we go through this whole thing. We tell everybody that this is the modern boogeyman. It's it's something that everybody's scared of. And we brought in music, we brought in books, we brought in movies, we brought in this, we brought in that, and everybody's like, "Oh my God! So how long have you been a Satanist?" I'm like, I'm not. I don't believe in the devil. I'm an atheist. I'm and they're like, well, that's the same thing, right? I'm like,
no, it's not.
No, it's not remotely the same thing.
The problem is,
the best thing I've ever been called my entire life was a devil worshipping atheist. And I went, let me explain to you that's wrong.
Is that I've done a bit of research. In a lot of these people's minds, not believing in God is the same as believing in Satan.
Yeah, but
it just doesn't in their eyes. That act of blasphemy is just a paramount to worshiping the devil. Well, that's why correcting as much as you correct them, you're just not. It's not gonna.
It'll never get through. Well, what's funny is that I had a friend in school whose parents, I don't know if it was his mom or both his mom and dad, they believe that the most satanic music ever was Christian rock. Because the devil had convinced people that it was Christian music. And I'm like, okay, you put way too much.
It's because it's that bad.
let me explain to you. Christian rock is just horrible music for them. But it might actually be the work of the devil. It is just bad music.
Well, the devil himself said it best in the hit song by Lifeseeker. Who do you think invented Christian rock? I did. Which is one of my favorite lyrics ever put to music in the history of the world.
Oh my god.
Look up Devil's Down and Out. It's a really good song.
Oh my god. But no, well, it's like, okay, like I said, I've been a heavy metal guy, a horror movie guy, a video game guy. That was another thing. Video games were, look at this video game. Like you said, Doom is, it's evil.
Pokemon. Pokemon, because it taught evolution. Evolution.
Oh my god.
The devil's work.
Oh. Yeah, microevolution and macroevolution are two different things. I'm like, it's not how it works, man. Oh.
The thing is that, like, there is no room for evolving a Christian, like a hardcore, hardcore evangelical mindsets.
And the thing is, though, we're not. I'm not insulting people if they're religious or whatever. If you believe in this and it helps you, and it's what follows through. That's awesome. If it works for you, if it puts down other people, if it makes you hate other people,
if you're using your religion as an excuse to be an asshole,
yeah, then don't do it. Don't do that. But no, the best part about the Satanic Panic is that I am still learning more about it to this day. Like I forgot there was a documentary on 60 Minutes in '85 about D&D being satanic. There's all these like stranger. I remember when they came to the school and showed the little films about, you got to watch it because there's the devil worshippers. I pretty much lived in Piqua or the Piqua surrounding area my entire life. Okay.
Even in this little podunk town,
and I remember
just overbearing.
I remember when I was a kid that there was the Satanic Church north of Piqua in the woods. You know what? I went looking for it. There wasn't a damn thing in those woods.
Because it just... Another thing is a lot of these evangelical types, they made money off that.
Oh, yeah, they did. Well, that's like this one.
We need to fight the Satanists. Donate hundreds of millions of dollars to me.
Well, here's this one.
In the name of Jesus.
I found one. It's called The Deception of a Generation. It's from Eagle Nest Ministries. You can look this up. What's on YouTube? It's Gary Greenwald, and he looks at Saturday morning cartoons, the cartoons of the age, and literally the first thing he shows is how satanic Scooby-Doo was. And this is my Scooby-Doo reference for this episode, because everybody says I have a Scooby-Doo reference in every episode, and this is my one. Okay. But they talk about, I'm like sitting there going, they're like, it's the occultic references in this cartoon, the occultic references in this cartoon. Like the occultic references of Cobra and G.I. Joe, and I'm like,
they're the bad guys.
Yeah, they're the bad. What the hell? The occultic, evil sorcerer Skeletor. He's the bad guy.
I am not nice.
I am not nice. I'm Skeletor. I'm evil.
I kidnapped the baby Adora. What? Joe put it best. That's how I would react to.
That's the best thing. Look that up on YouTube. That is actually from the He-Man. That's actually from the He-Man She-Ra crossover episode.
Yeah.
Power of the Sword. It's where Hordak admits he abducted Princess Adora as a baby from King Randor, and he's like, Skeletor's just like, what? What the hell, man? I'm evil, but that's just messed up.
It was like I too would react like that if my coworker had just told me they kidnapped the baby.
Oh my god! But okay, we sitting there talking about the cartoon. They even bring this up. They make the Smurfs are evil. They're satanic. The Smurfs are satanic. But I had a dude I went to school with. His parents would only let him watch 2 things on TV. They would let him watch the news, which I don't know why you'd let a child watch the news, because that's horrible. if you're going to watch, 3 things. It was the news, Little House on the Prairie, and the Smurfs. And I'm like, the Smurfs. Well, it was funny because when he would come over and stay at my house when I was a kid, he would, of course, watch whatever the hell he wanted to watch and enjoy everything.
Coming straight from the horse's mouth. If you try and limit what your kids are intaking, your kids are going to ignore you and intake that anyway.
Well, no. Your grandma didn't actually try to limit what I watched or try to say anything. She actually, because I remember the first time she started going through my CDs and my cassettes back in the day, and she's just looking at them and reading them, and she's like, I don't like this music. I don't understand it. White Zombie, Slayer, this, that, and the other. I'm like, Mom, you listen to bands like Strawberry Alarm Clock. And I'm like, what the hell? You know, I had a friend whose mom, she knew that literally one of the first concerts I ever went to was Ozzy on his No More Tours tour back in like 91. I want to put that, I will say it again. His No More Tours tour in 1991. That's why we're getting No More Tours 2 that was canceled because COVID's an asshole and fucks everything up. But no, she was like, do you really think Paul should go see Ozzy Osbourne? And whatever, he's almost an adult. So I went and seen it. I'm smart enough. I don't get it. If you're a complete and total, I don't want to say. Most people are smart enough to know that it's an imagery. It's you know, no one.
Most of the time, if a kid legitimately was getting into Satanism, it was to not a true. Like, you know, they didn't.
It's
really
a rebellion
care about the devil.
It's to
you parents.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was to rebel against what they were brought up as. You know, literally, I knew Satanists, and they were some of the most boring people I've ever met in my entire life.
I know a Satanist too, and he too is poor. He's gotten better.
Yeah,
Tristan is.
Yeah, Tristan. Shout out to Tristan.
Shout out to Tristan. Sorry for calling you boring.
But no,
he used to be a bit of a jerk, but he's fine now.
Yeah, I know. It's because he doesn't live around here no more. He's on the road. He's traveling now. He's on his way to California. He's like, I don't know where he's at right now, but he just got a trailer. I talked to him.
Here he goes again on his own.
Yep,
going down the only road he's ever known.
You know and part of that is because he rebelled against the way he was raised. A lot of kids. That's why a lot of kids that drink and party and stuff like that. It's not because they're getting into Satanism. It's because they're rebelling against the way they were raised. I kind of had a lot of leeway when I was younger. Yeah, my mom would ask me about devil worshiping. My you know, I
You'd
was
be like, no,
I don't believe in the devil.
You do it because you dress up in the band T-shirts because you like the band.
Oh yeah, dude. Literally, I have. I also
every T-shirt you have is a band T-shirt.
No, yeah, at one point, T-shirt. I if you go through my closet, there is comic book, horror movie, and metal band T-shirts. That's pretty much all I got.
Then there's the.
I got a shitload of Godzilla T-shirts.
Oh yeah.
I don't believe Godzilla's real.
I wish Godzilla was real.
No, because it would suck for Japan if Godzilla was real.
Yeah, but from what we've seen in the movies, Japan's not the only one dealing with giant monsters.
Well, what's funny is watching the end of watching Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and knowing, you see Godzilla going up against, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Godzilla King of the Monsters, which it's, spoiler alert, like a year and a half, it's a great movie. It's giant monsters fighting. Who cares? It's giant monsters fighting. People are like, what doesn't have enough human interaction? I don't care. I want to see giant monsters fighting.
Everybody makes that joke, but honestly, the human interaction is some of the best stuff
I'm not gonna lie. Ken Watanabe, excellent. I think he's the only returning character from the first Godzilla to the second Godzilla movie, and
it's good that they got rid of the soldier guy who was the main character of the first movie.
Well, when you had Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, playing husband and wife, he was
Bryan Cranston was good, but they killed him off.
Yeah, I don't get that, but
they killed off one of their stronger characters like halfway through the movie, and we follow this boring soldier dude for the rest of the movie. It sucked.
But
then Godzilla grabbed the Muto and atomic breath right in the mouth, and it made up for that.
Oh yeah. Well, my thing is Ken Watanabe's great. He's one of them actors who's really good in almost anything he does.
It's Ken Watanabe.
Watanabe, yeah. What is it?
You're saying Watanabe.
Watanabe, whatever. You know what I mean. Well, it's like there's a handful of actors who Baku guys. Ironically enough, I won't be the first time they called that.
you're, after all, you are big in Japan.
I am big in Japan. Found out because a lot of little Japanese people think that I was a wrestler, and I was not, and it disappointed them. But they still get their picture taken with me, anyways. We're gonna get off topic. There's a handful of actors who you can put them in any movie, and they're great in any movie, even if it's a shitstorm of a movie. You can put Ewan McGregor in a movie, and Ewan McGregor's always good in a movie, even if it's a shitty movie.
Let's look at the prequels.
Yeah. Idris Elba. You put Idris Elba in a movie, even if it's a shitty movie. Idris Elba is the best part of a shitty movie.
Samuel Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Gary Oldman. Mm-hmm. Gary Oldman will take a shitty movie, but he'll be the best part of that shitty movie. And Ken Watanabe. You put him in a movie, even if it's a shit movie, he's still pretty good. Oh man, I and the worst part about it is I heard he was supposed to play Toshihiro Mifune in a movie, and I don't know whatever happened to that, but I was like, sign me up. Knowing that Mifune was supposed to be the original Obi-Wan Kenobi and speak Japanese through the entire Star Wars movie as Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he turned it down, and then we ended up getting Alex Guinness, and we get where we're at. That's another thing. Star Wars is satanic. I'm like, okay, I get it. All right, he was a savior that fell from grace and became evil. Okay, it's
loose at best. I guess it's because
I think people reach for it just because they want to find a reason for it to be evil.
Yeah.
You know, that's like looking at some of these movies and they're like, okay, well, this movie is satanic. Okay, no, there's movies that I watched that I literally one of the funniest movies I've watched in a while is literally the movie Satanic Panic. It's funny as shit. It's got 80s level special effects. It's got Rebecca Romijn and her husband Jerry O'Connell, who are both funny as shit in that movie. It's funny because it plays on the Satanic Panic, and I gotta watch another movie which is about it's close to it. Somebody said that they should flip the names. Was it Coming of Darkness and Satanic Panic? They should switch the names. But I haven't watched the other one yet. I really got to get to it.
There's a movie I'm thinking of that was based off of a chick tract of the same name. Have you heard of a chick tract?
No.
They were written by a guy named Jack Chick, who is dead now. But he was this uber evangelical.
Oh,
Christian
yeah,
guy
yes,
who
yes.
drew the funny comics.
Yep.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me look up my favorite chick track because it's just hilarious. Hold on. There.
What's to stop me from becoming God?
For becoming a god.
Becoming a God.
Here. It's like, it was anti-atheism, so it's like, there is no God, right, Mama? True. So how do I know what's right and what's wrong? It's up to you, Tyler. Evolution does away with morals. Wow, anything goes. I can lie, cheat. What's to keep me from becoming a god?
I love it. Right there says the little curry. Oh, man. No, go back to this whole thing, man. There's the funny part about it is that, you know, and this, we're gonna get away from the funniness. We're getting to the seriousness. You know, a lot of people were accused of abuse that did not happen, and there was probably abuse that did happen that went unregistered
Because
literally
because they were using the Satanic Panic
Oh,
as
yeah.
a cover.
Yeah. See, I knew there's people I knew when I was a kid who came from really religious background families who were abused. Okay, and you know, I wish now that I could go back in the past and be like, you know, fuck no, the cops.
Get 'em out of
Yeah,
there.
you need to do something, but I couldn't because, you know, I was a kid and I didn't really know. And you know, but it's I think it's a shame because I was reading an article here a little bit ago, and they're talking about how some of these people who they know are pretty much innocent, that this shit did not happen. These kids got coerced into basically confessing that these people abused them and stuff, and there's nothing, no evidence, but these people are still in jail. They're in prison, and they'll probably be in prison for, you know, but
Because the justice system's fucked.
Yeah. But, you know, I am, like I said, and it's still to this day, I get, because I have a Lovecraft tattoo. I got a Cthulhu.
You got to expand it a couple times. It's got the writing. It's got Cthulhu himself.
Yeah, I got a what looks like a page of the Necronomicon tattooed on my arm, and I have the Elder Sign. And everybody's like, "Oh, it's a pentagram." I'm like, it's an Elder Sign. It's protection from evil in the Lovecraft universe. And they're like, "Well," I'm like, "Oh, it's not. It's just gibberish. Is what that is. It's not anything." It's
The Elder Sign is there to keep that image of Cthulhu from driving you crazy.
It's my because if you look at my arm too long, you'll go nuts.
The Elder Sign is keeping you from going nuts.
Nuts, yeah. The Megatron tattoo and the Godzilla tattoo, and then the Mazinger Z and Voltron tattoos. Because I'm still a nerd, and I'll be a nerd till the day I die.
Mom's got her Dawn tattoo.
And her dragon tattoo, and your mom is the girl with the dragon tattoo. People are like, "What?" That's a book. Check it out. And a movie. 2 movies, actually. You have the actual original Swedish and the Americanized David Fincher version. But oh yeah, comic books are I like I said, I've been through this whole thing. It's funny because comic books have been demonized so many times, and you just look and go, "Wow, what?" The seduction of the innocent that they did, and you know, they always look for the Red Scare in books and whatnot like that, and I'm like, wow, you know. And I thought as I got older, some of the shit would disappear, and I thought for sure that people would be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, this is just bullshit. This is a fucking."
The problem is that these people believed it for years and years and years, and if they stop believing it, they're gonna look like idiots.
Oh yeah, I mean, I when I do get a chance to play D&D as an adult, I don't get a chance to play D&D a whole lot, but when I do, I still love playing D&D. I love playing Pathfinder. I still like playing role playing games. And now
around with the weird fun systems like
I'm a big fan of World of Darkness. And World of Darkness is obviously there's demons, there's hunters, there's vampires, there's wraiths, there's mummies. I remember when that was all. Oh, that's evil. Well, the best one was I remember that World of Darkness was all satanic. When then people get together to LARP, that's a satanic coven. That's a coven. And then I went to a round of a game of World of Darkness LARP, and I was severely disappointed when the combat system was paper, rock, paper, scissors. They're like, I'm going to attack you. Scissors, rock, paper. Like,
I wanted to fist fight someone. I wanted to pretend to have lightning bolt coming out of my hands.
I want to feed on you. No. But no, and it's funny because I was, like I said, I was disappointed. But, you know, and it's great when you sit down, and I can poke fun at a lot of this as I've gotten older. But I've gone through a lot of shit. I'm not gonna lie. I went through a lot of shit. I've had people who thought I was a devil worshiper. I've had people who thought I was a horrible fucking person because, you know, I played D&D.
You had the audacity to like metal music.
I liked heavy metal music. That I was. I actually one of my good friends. His mom was fascinated by me because she was a psychiatrist, and she was always told, you know, she was like, you know, the kids that are like this are usually troubled kids who are troublemakers and get into trouble, and they're and then she met me, and then I ended up being this like really nice person,
just laid back,
and this kind of chill guy, you know,
laid back.
And she, you know, she thought I was interesting. She thought I was cool. You know, I don't know if cool, but you know, because she's like, and I
kind of went against like what
it went against what everybody, the stereotype of what people see in me.
Mm-hmm.
Still to this day, as I've gotten older, my hair's gotten thinner, my beard's gotten grayer, but I still have long hair. I got a big long goatee, and I still have people who think that I am this evil guy, and I'm like, I am not evil. I don't get me wrong. You cut me off in traffic, or you're a dick. I have horrible road rage, and I do turn freaking evil when I'm on the road.
And I did inherit a little bit of that. I'm nowhere near as bad.
Oh no,
but
I remember forgetting people were in the car with me, and I'm like yelling and screaming and cussing at people, and then I turn and I'm like, oh yeah, there's somebody in the passenger seat, and they're like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Why you cut me off,
motherfucker? But
I'll get out of this car and track them out of there.
I will can kill them. No, but you know, I like I said, when it comes down to it, still love D&D, still love heavy metal, still love comic books, I still love horror movies, you know, but I am a loving father. I love my 4 boys.
I can vouch for that.
I'm a loving husband. I've been with the same woman. You know, we met in 1993. We had her on again, off again stuff when we were kids, but we're you know, pretty much, you know, I've been.
Now you have a 23-year-old son.
Yeah, technically I got a 28-year-old son, our oldest, or the adopted one. And I am not a devil worshiper. I am not a bad person, you know.
Like I said, I can vouch for that.
I love my wife, I love my kids, and I love my family. I love my friends. Yeah. I have a really tight-knit group, a small tight-knit group of friends that I would do anything for. And it's funny, like I said, because, you know, knowing full well that there are people who still believe that horror movies are evil. I think horror movies are escapism, and they are, because they you need to get rid of fear. You need to get rid of anger. You need to get rid of this. Same with D&D. D&D for me was one of the best things that ever happened to me. When I was a kid, I went through horrible depression. Horrible depression, kind of like what you did when you were about the same age.
Mm-hmm.
It's my cat. And
it's not your cat, it's Lucy.
Oh, and when I played D&D, I could, run into battle. I could be brave. I could be strong. I could be, I could have power, and it helped. Mm-hmm. And I think. And it's funny because
stuff is like often enough a source for confidence for people.
Oh, it is. It is.
Don't really get it.
Because you see all these big name actors now playing D&D.
Guys like Vin Diesel.
Joe Manchilo, whatever his name is.
Vin Diesel's the big one.
The one guy, God, I can never pronounce his name. He was on True Blood. He was he's Deathstroke in the
guys like Matt Mercer. Matt Mercer literally runs a runs like a D&D game, and they record their sessions. It's called Critical Role.
Oh yeah,
Matt Mercer's like a voice act. Him and a few other voice actors. They play D&D.
Mangian.
It's Italian.
Yeah.
You can probably look up a way to pronounce. Just probably.
How do you pronounce his name, man?
Wikipedia probably has it. Mangianello.
Mangianello. Yeah. Okay. But he's it's funny because he was in Magic Mike. He's in freaking
After True Blood.
Sabotage. Yeah. Holy crap. But he was the original Flash Thompson when he was like 30 some years old. He was Flash Thompson. But yeah, these people are playing D&D, and it does help with and it's funny because I was reading an article, and they were talking about people who grew up on 80s metal and stuff like that are now like the most a lot of them that everybody thought were going to be the bad kids and stuff are now the most stable. They're the most they're regular people, and I'm like I'm not regular, but I am
You're definitely not going around murdering people.
No, I'm not. I was. It's funny because we had a joke. It says a few years ago. It says, "What did you do when you were 14? What did you do when you're 34 or whatever?" And I was like, I was 44 at the time, and it was like at 14, I played D&D. I read comic books. I watched horror movies. I listened to heavy metal music. My best friends were Dante, Josh, Rick, and then it jumps to I was like at 44. I play D&D. I watch horror movies. I read comic books. I still watch cartoons. Mm-hmm. My friends are still Dante, Josh, Rick.
You've gotten a couple new friends.
I've got a lot of new friends, and it's kind of cool because I'm still madly fascinated by. I don't believe in witchcraft, but I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated by.
I try. I don't really get into that because I just get mad about like the horrible crimes the Catholic Church committed, and I just get mad, and I don't like getting my real heated like that. So I'll just be like.
I'm fascinated by the whole, and it's funny because it's not that I believe it works. I mean, it's the way I am, but it's through positive affirmation is what a lot of it is. Mm-hmm. It's like you will it to happen. Mm-hmm. That's what they tell you to do in like positive reinforcement stuff. Mm-hmm. Except for there's like ceremony with
you take a bug and squish it.
Yeah, there's ceremony in witchcraft, and there's just positive thinking in the other one. I don't know, but the 1980s with the Satanic Panic was hilarious. It was sad and funny at the same time.
Sad, funny, aggravating.
It's irritating. I as somebody who's gone through it as a child and is still going through it as an adult, because the Satanic Panic is still there. I mean, it's there's people who believe that the satanic elite are ruling the nation, and I'm like, no, they're not. They're reptoids. But
the conspiracy theory is that these people are secretly evil rather than just being openly so.
no, they're all openly evil. I don't get it. I think if you're a politician, you're evil to begin with, but that's just me. The devil's like, hey, I got nothing to do with this at all. That's all them. I don't know what they're doing in my name, but I don't want nothing to do with it.
Well, the devil's New Yorker now.
Yeah. I see that. The one funny thing about the whole thing is that what's the devil do in hell?
Punishes the bad people.
Why is the devil the bad guy?
It's because he's a scapegoat.
Scapegoat.
He had the audacity. If you go by Old Testament, because Old Testament God was a dick.
No, that's like right now. One of my favorite shows on television is Lucifer. I liked it when it was on Fox. I love it now. It's on Netflix. Neil Gaiman, who I've met a couple times and got to have a talk with. This is before Lucifer was really a big thing. I love that show, even though the what we get on the TV and what we get in the comic books are two vastly different things. But it's just, I know people who are like the new Sabrina. Because
new Sabrina they're going like turbo dark.
Well, they're backing off of that. But like the first season, they're satanic witches, and it's funny because I knew people who really liked the show but did not want to like the show because they're satanic witches. I'm like, that's just,
It's what Sabrina always was. They're just kind of doubling down on it.
Yeah, and then they're like, okay, well, they're not satanic witches. Now they're
Well, there was a whole arc about Sabrina being the queen of hell.
Well, she's still technically the queen of hell, but she defeated Lucifer, their version of Lucifer. Mm-hmm. And I always like the fact that Lucifer, the DC TV version, is he's just like this, like he's a guy who has daddy issues. And he was like, well, Dad's an asshole, It's like, I didn't want to work in a family business, It's like
that's what the original Old Testament Lucifer was. He was like, God, you treat these humans like shit. I could do a better job. And God's just like.
What was it? The funny thing is that was it Eve, the first person not to understand the Apple contract?
If you go by Old Testament, Eve was not the first woman.
That's Lilith.
Lilith was created. Adam was like, "Hey, baby,"
and she's like,
"Lilith's like, no, this is gross. I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm out."
But the funny part about it is that a lot of people want to find a scapegoat. They're going to find a scapegoat. Whether it be comic books, whether it be video games, whether it be movies, whether it be other religions, whether it be sexuality, whether it be color, whatever. That's like when I was
it's like just drilled into their heads from childhood.
Well, that's like when I was a kid,
indoctrination.
Okay, when I was a kid, all gays in most movies were the comedy relief.
Mm-hmm. It's like
super and okay,
super over the top, butt of the joke.
Was it Jamal in Revenge of the Nerds? Mm-hmm. People forget. In another movie, he was a badass member of Cobra Kai. Yeah. People forget, but and when I got older and I actually started meeting more gay people and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, okay, they're not. Okay, they're just—it's just regular people.
Another thing is one of the reasons for that is like Hollywood had like a weird, like, you essentially, if you made a gay person, they had to be a stereotype.
Oh yeah,
because big wigs and execs and all that.
That's like almost all ethnicities at one point were stereotypes. You know, you have the Indians.
The predatory lesbian stereotype was something that was literally, like, you go into the history of that. That was something that was, like, pushed by, like, execs and regulations because they didn't want any positive representation of that. Because any positive representation of that, and, you know, they'd be like, oh, the kids will think it's good. We don't want that.
I don't know. It is what it is. It's like I said, Satanic Panic is heartbreaking, funny, depressing, all wrapped up into one. And literally, like I said, I remember watching documentaries on this shit back when I was a kid.
And you can still watch documentaries.
You can watch it.
Now.
Go on YouTube, and you can find all these documentaries on.
I'd personally go for the stuff that's
Here, find the ones from the Christian Fundamentals, the Eagle's Nest Ministry. They talk to you about the evils of D&D, the evils of this is the one, the deception of the generation, demonic toys, and it's the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. The worst thing, the most evil thing about 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo is Scrappy, and the weird Daphne.
I do not like Daphne in that.
Daphne's like weird.
It's not even it barely resembles Daphne.
Oh yeah, it's just, I think it's the voice. That, and I want to say 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo introduces
Look,
Flim Flam.
Yeah. Everybody talks shit about Scrappy. Nobody remembers Flim Flam.
Oh, there's a reason that people hate Flim Flam.
It's good that nobody remembers Flim Flam.
Oh man. But oh my god. It's bad, and
I'm gonna. I need to. You know, we're getting close to the wrapping up, and I feel like I need to make a statement. I know you always going on about, you know, no politics, but this is kind of inescapable in this situation, and I'm just gonna say this right now. If you're like stuck in like some kind of household where, like, you know, your family is like shitty to you for like whether like for your sexuality or your identity, take it from me, take it from Dad, take it from your family is not just blood.
Yeah,
and family is people who stick by you.
What was it? I know it's bad. Is we have the ongoing joke that is from of all things, it's from Fast and Furious. Is I don't have friends, I have family. Mm-hmm. I have no blood brothers. Mm-hmm. I have, you know, you
were an only child.
I was an only child. My Mark, Bill, Maddie, Patrizio, Rick, you know, these guys are bone. They're my extended family. They're my brothers. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't have real brothers, so these are the closest things I have to brothers. You know, I would go to battle for any of these guys. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I also know, you know, with Trevor, my oldest son, he's my adopted son. We're not blood in any way, shape, or form.
We never even formally adopted him. He just lived with us.
He came to live with us and never went home. But I love him to death. He is my son, and I will go.
He is my brother,
and I will go to bat. And it was funny because I will fight anybody who says that he is not my kid, because he is my son, and he is just as much my son as you and Joe and Vince.
And I know I just said it, but he is my brother.
But, you know, love your life. Enjoy what you enjoy. If, you know, if somebody gives you shit about enjoying something, if you're not hurting anybody, that's just it. If you're hurting somebody, it's wrong. Mm-hmm. You know, but if nobody gets hurt, nobody's ever gotten hurt because I love comic books. No one's ever gotten hurt because I like playing D&D. No one's ever I can't say no one's ever got hurt. But it was in the pit. Mm-hmm. So people get hurt in the pit, but
people get into the pit on purpose.
yes, you that is a
entirely
that is a
consensual
consensual
fighting
in the pit. So during a concert, I've been in the pit for Slayer, and I had a boot print on my forehead. He's like, I kicked in the head.
Someone you got on the receiving end of a vulgar display of power. That's a Pantera reference. Yeah, it's not Slayer, but
I've been on the stage at a Slayer show. I've been at like the most metal, evil, metal concerts. I've been to Deicide. I've been to Dimmu Borgir. I've been to Behemoth. I've been to all, and it's like I'm not a devil worshiper. I can still like the music, but I don't. It's
another thing that gets me is that you got all these nerds who they dealt with all these nerds who dealt with the stuff like you're talking about the Satanic Panic, talking about they dealt with that stuff, and then they turn around and do some gatekeeping of their own. They're like they'll bully people out of.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna lie. I'm an old nerd from way back. I'm an old geek. I remember me and your mom had this discussion a while back. When me and her first got together, I took her to Motor City Con after we'd only been together for a few months, and literally she was one of only a handful of women there. And I watched when it was, you felt when people were like, oh, you're going to a convention, ooh, what weird, and now it's acceptable. I mean, Comic-Con is massive. That's where people drop new movies and everything else like that. When I was young, it was like people wanted to distance themselves from it. Comic book movies weren't the normal. Comic book movies were a joke. I mean, I joke around about, like, we had Howard the Duck and the weird Captain America movie with rubber ears, and we had the Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren. The Batman movies were good. Technically, the first two were good. The rest of them were meh. We had the Superman movies. The first two were good. The other ones, like, eh. But, I've been one of them guys who would get angry about shit, and I still do, because I think one of the problems is that there are people out there that take advantage of being a geek, being a nerd, because I think there's the ones who are the
I don't think it's the women, like, a lot of these, the gamer girls. I often think it's like the big heads, like the guys who take advantage of being nerds are the guys who are now like
Well,
I don't know if Kevin Smith, but they're in positions like where Kevin Smith is.
I will go.
Where they're a famous nerd.
I'll go down to my grave and be like, fuck Big Bang Theory. That show's garbage. But then you get people who make their entire career on the fact that they're weird geeky guys. Because you get like Will Wheaton,
who has made his entire career on being a quirky geek man.
And then you have like Seth Green, and you have some of these other guys, and
Seth Green can be funny sometimes. Sometimes
I've heard horror stories about him.
He probably has a huge ego.
But it is I think people take advantage of it because they're like, oh, we're cool and we're just like you. No, you're not. One is you're rich.
You're corporate.
You're corporate.
Guys like it. Guys like crap. What's his name? He worked on Buffy. He's the head of Buffy. He was
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon was also a bit of being a nerd. Then he was like cheating on his wife, and he was an asshole. And
yeah, I don't think one has to do with the other, but it's one of them things. Is that here it is. And I'll go back to this because we're this will be the longest episode we ever done. One, if you like something, like it. If you like, and it's D&D is not evil. Comic books are not evil. People can be evil, but they're not evil because of watching a movie they're not evil because they. My favorite one from the back in the day was porn would make you evil. Porn would make you a rapist. I'm like, porn would make you lazy. Because you're just like, I got a magazine. Or no one has magazines anymore, but now you got the internet. But it's goofy that they demonize everything, and just have fun, man. You're not hurting nobody. Go watch your horror movies. Go listen to your heavy metal music. Go read your comics.
Go be gay.
Go be gay. Go do whatever go be gay, bi, whatever. If that's who you are as a person, fuck it. Just do it.
Just do it.
You know, just have fun. Be a nerd. Be a geek. Just, you know, and
be weird.
Be weird and enjoy your life. And also follow us.
Embrace this freedom.
Embrace the freedom by following us at Podbean, iTunes. Check our Patreon. We could use every penny that you could donate. With
that guy from the Family Guy jokes. Conway Twitty.
Son of a bitch. We're gonna get. Hey, hey! If everything goes all right, we'll bring in the Mountain Dew guy. Fucking some bitch, my Mountain Dew. I'm gonna drink my Mountain Dew. They got Liberty Brew. They got USA Dew.
I met a real life. I when I was working at Walmart, I met a real life Mountain Dew guy. He had a Mountain Dew T-shirt. He had a cart full of 2 liters of Mountain Dew.
See, that's bullshit at Walmart because they only have 2 types of Mountain Dew and 2 liters. They have Code Red and regular Mountain Dew.
He had regular Mountain Dew and nothing but regular Mountain Dew in that.
That's diabetes. That's what that is.
I'm personally not a fan of regular Mountain Dew. I gotta have one. If I'm gonna drink Mountain Dew, I'm gonna drink one of the flavored Mountain Dews.
Hey,
look, it's a priest man. I wonder what he's saying.
Oh, well.
Sacred Heart League.
Okay, but as we're saying, follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Group Therapy TV. Like I said, follow us on
Spend money at RU Game.
Spend money at RU Game. Send us money on Patreon. If you want to donate items, still get a hold of me. Contact me. Just drop it off at the shop. I've had people drop it.
Preserve it, and
we'll preserve it.
Sure that
call it to Mick because Mick just got me a copy of The Keep on Laserdisc. Laserdisc. That's what I wanted. So,
we got a projector.
Okay, projector.
Start slowing down.
We want to get everything to keep going, and any little bit you can donate, whatever helps. We'll give shout outs to any of our Patreons. And hopefully, I think this might be the first episode we have that will be on YouTube. It'll be a static picture with the podcast. We hope to have actual full video cast because that should follow soon after the move. Mm-hmm. So
we'll start setting up the video.
Yep.
You can see my ugly mug.
Yes. You can see why, and then I can do air quotes, and people actually know I'm doing air quotes. So, all right, this is Paul.
This is Brandon.
And we're saying goodnight to everybody on the longest episode at 83 freaking minutes almost. Y'all have a good night.
Do what you want.
Bye.